or blacks, niggas. So they're trying to tell you and relay to you in these secret societies that the next step in these fraternities, the fraternities is just where they test. That's like going, when I'm about to join the Marines, can I make it through that 2 weeks of mind control drill, whatever they call it, the drills, before I even get called to infiltrate, to go over wherever I'm going to go? Will I be a dedicated, true Marine? Die for this because I've been trained to, for country and honor, God and all this shit. They doing the same thing in them fraternities. It's burning you, bonding you to this, and ultimately bond you with ass fucking. You ain't walking around trying to sell nothing out, and they could show you and tell you gay. It's the most embarrassing thing for a straight dude. But they'll go through it because they're promised to be taken care of in the world. So now they're showing you there is a line in the sand. Dap and Big Brother Almighty going head to head, nigga versus black. So Spike Lee early on was trying to show you that this is the game in these secret societies. He was showing you the mind control all the way through it. And here's where it got interesting and proves what Steve Coakley has been saying for years. Right when Shorty, or whatever his name was in the movie Spike Lee, was about to become a brother, he's holding up this torch, against his own arm's fatigue for whatever. The girl's egging him on, and his brother saying, put it down, you don't need to. They're going through this ritual with him, and they're showing you all the mind control that they're going through. Then they cut to a scene where they're at the party, and the song comes on called Doing the Butt. And it was clear as day what Spike Lee was saying. That I want your butt, doing the butt. And after they did the Doing the Butt song, which the females were there too, which I believe the females see this act, this homosexual act. After they were doing the butt, he says to Spike Lee, you're now in. It was symbolic of doing the butt, what he was talking about in this movie, clear as fucking day. There was also a scene where the guys from college go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they showed niggas. They get there, the lady behind the counter, how may I help you today? Well, we were like this and that, well, we got this, we got that. He said, well, can I get a such and such? We're all out of that. He said, well, you tell me if you all of that. Just the regular attitude that you do normally see. And they were trying to show, this is that nigga, and we that college nigga. Then, of course, he interfaced with Sam Jackson. You a nigga. You ain't gonna be nothing but a nigga. We're not niggas. They're trying to show, or Spike Lee was trying to show back then, there's a line in the sand. And then now it makes more sense why Chris Rock says we're niggas and then we're black people. And then after that, he gets $20 million per movie. You understand what I'm saying? With Chris Tucker did an interview with Louis Gates Jr., Skip, who went to Harvard, who clearly has disdain for black people. You can see it in his specials because he understands this concept. He's an archon. He understands this concept between niggas and black people. And though he doesn't have to say it, you can see the disdain in his face. And then when he was talking to Chris Tucker's at his house with all these white Greek statues around, which means he went to school and found, and this is his fraternity shit, and he's too stupid to understand the true meaning, so he just has white Greek statues and said they're beautiful. And Louis Gates agreed with him. Chris Tucker pretty much did one of those, and a regular hip-hop nigga came. He said, yo, get him something to drink and me something to drink. and the nigga moved like a serpent. And Louis Gates took that shit. Like how many times you seen on television white people take something from a black person and just ignore them. Yeah, nigga, go away. And it looked disgusting. I heard the rumor is some Muslims or somebody, because Chris Tucker was talking that, why would I go to Africa or see anything in Africa? The kids never did nothing for me. I know, I ain't got nothing to do with that. He was talking that kind of shit. And ultimately, I heard somebody snatched his ass, took him to South Africa, and he became, even to this day, the African helping dude. And that's why there's no more movies, because pretty much he said, I'm not cooning anymore. So by stop cooning, no more movies. Who's doing this? So now it started to occur to me as I seen how Cat Williams was out, how I seen Dave Chappelle got out, but eventually had to come back in. Now, we normally try to think, oh, white people are doing this. How Bill Cosby, now let's get to him, how Bill Cosby in 1993, when his show went off the air, they immediately put on Def Jam the same year, and Martin Lawrence, Martin show, same year. Bill Cosby loses it. They're cooning, they're cooning, they're cooning, they're cooning. And we couldn't see him as coons. We just thought you say the word coon when niggas is goofing off. But they were actually doing what the true coons were doing when they were exploited. They're doing the same jokes, the same movements, the same facial, and all that shit. Steve Harvey bugging the eyes as well. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really hitting nothing on Def Jam that's intellectual. It's about what you can do physically, grabbing your dick or talking about your dick. It was cooning. But you couldn't see it. It was funny. It was Def Jam. It was new. It was current. It was what was popping. He's complaining about it, and he starts to want to buy NBC. Now, what if we stop using our mind control in thinking that white people are the true secret society and there's this hidden hand that runs the world? This just occurred to me, and it made so much sense. And I want y'all to hear this. What if black people still run the world? We are so under mind control by white people, something like that would never even occur to us. You never really hear a comprehensive story about how white people all of a sudden took over the world. They were made to seem like they took over the world. Then it occurred to me as I'm thinking, Brother Phil Valentine used to talk about all of these wars. It's clearly clear that there has been a lot of wars throughout this world. A lot of societies that were up and are buried based upon some sort of violence that took place. Then I thought about the mentality now. Niggas in consciousness can't even get along. If the Moors were running this right now, then here come the Nubians. Then think of the Hebrew Israelites in the world, unchecked by anything. They'll tell you that they're going to beat their women's ass and put them in slavery. They'll tell you that right now. Right now. Then where would Islam be? This war, if it was black people, couldn't get along. Black people hate each other naturally. You know it and I know it. If Crips is running it, there will always be a blood at the doorstep. So what if a priesthood said, I got an idea. What if we create a new enemy, a different enemy, an enemy where all black people's attention will be pointed towards them while we still truly run the planet as the true hidden hand? Spirit was talking to me. I said, well, let me probe this. I said, well, what if it was black people that, because we say it all the time. White people were in the caves. Then all of a sudden, they now own Kabbalah. They now own Celtic science, Nordic sciences, Roman and Greek mythologies, and then even their philosophies on our mythologies. Now we would still say, I know we did it and we were the first one and they got it from us. What if they were trained in this stuff just enough, or this stuff was put there or changed to put some of their faces on it for the sole purpose of creating a dummy race that looks like they're running the world, while the true race never really gave up power. You can't say we were running this millions of years in a span of 2,000 years. It's all done. But it makes sense if we were still running it, or a group of us was still running it, or the archons, perhaps in a priesthood called Yaqub, said, we have an idea. They raised them up, starting with Constantine, the religion, all of that, niggas that raised them up. And now we wake up in a world where they were our slave masters, and we say they're running economies, and we say this, that, the other. And then the one secret society we have is, oh, we're mimicking them because, you know, they're the boss. They run everything. They did everything. Mind you, on the other hand, we're saying they were just in the caves 5 minutes ago. But now, boom, yeah. Everything must have their signature on it. Every celebrity that dies, how did the white man kill him? Not to say that they don't, not to say they're not doing what they're doing, but they're giving way to do what they do because there's something else that's truly running this. I think Dave Chappelle and them niggas know. I think Chris Rock and them niggas know. I think anybody in entertainment knows because entertainment runs the game. I think Cat Williams knows. I think Monique knows. I think they complain as much as they can without getting killed. I think Bill Cosby ultimately knows. And I think a part of that Boule Archon agenda is we must play the underdog, where most of Black society must have a mentality where we're fighting against something. We can't have the victory, otherwise it goes against the narrative. So when Bill Cosby says, I'm going to buy NBC, it's not white people saying that's too big and bad for you. It's Black people saying, if he buys NBC, then Black people can no longer say we're victims of the media. We're exploiting because we now have the power to do it. We say it all the time. How come Oprah, Michael Jordan, Eddie Murphy, and whatever other rich nigga can't get together and make their own Hollywood? Why is everyone complaining? They do this in Hollywood. They do this in Hollywood when we can make our own movies. Why is Tyler Perry giving that shit but does nothing but Madea fucking movies? You understand? Because if we say we have power, we can no longer say we're exploited, and it goes against the narrative. So that which truly runs the country, niggas, Black people, archons that truly run the country, saying, Bill, you can't do that. And if you try to do that because you know better, because he is Boule and he's high in the Boule, off with your head. They killed his son. He chilled out. He complained a little bit about the cooning, and then he went on, he stayed, and it's in my book, he went to some college and started complaining about niggers. Because remember, we're talking about good and bad hair. For them, these archons, they understand they're a different angelic race from the angels that came down here. Me, I'm from that same angelic race, but I'm not on the agenda of the archon, which is the setup for their this creator, the creator that y'all talk about, which is the demiurge God, to feed. And in turn, they feed because they have good lives. Listen, y'all need to hear this shit. So Bill goes on this tour. Excuse me. Getting over this phlegm. Bill Cosby goes on this tour, if you will, of ranting about black women and their sneakers, niggas buying Nikes, and you should tell the fathers, if you can contact the fathers in the home, what to do with this. He pretty much blamed black women from all society's ills. He was ranting with that nigga hate that I'm sure they do in these boule meetings, in these fraternity meetings. Something the young guy who goes to the fraternity does not know this. He's the young recruit. But if he's recruited to go further and further and shown that he has nigga hate in his heart, he's identifying himself spiritually as an archon. To understand that they are a different race. There's niggas who hate you and treat you like you're a different race. I'm sure you have experienced this somewhere. Who is this nigga? This doctor that looks at you with such disdain because they came up in them societies and these motherfuckers are a different race, archons. Y'all niggas need to get on it. So, like I said, you have to look at this thing cosmically. White people don't really factor in. They have been factored into you to be your distraction, and it's fucking working. Every fucking minute, you got some nigga talking about whitey and what white people are doing. And we need to do this because white people do that. They ain't nothing. They are the distraction. Your problem has always been with motherfuckers with color. Always. You've also been trained to think everyone's your brother, while the true archons taught you that as well. So when you can't make the distinction based upon the energy that's in the room. When I have to deal with doctors or whoever, the energy that's in the room, them niggas ain't niggas. You can tell them motherfuckers will experiment on you and kill you and don't give a fuck about you, no matter what color they are. Because intellectually, they built themselves up so much based upon their archon spirit that it separates you. They don't see you as blacks versus the niggas. Jigaboos, wannabes, good and bad hair, baby. That's what it's all about. You understand? So now they also see how much you hate yourself based upon the bullshit in your hair too. You got that pink, green, orange shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? Them fucked up weaves. You cannot wear nothing natural in your hair. Now, you've been trained to that. So someone who comes into conscious, who still feels that this is what makes them beautiful, I get it. You've been trained to that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not really about, once you take it out your hair, you're conscious, because you could just be as stupid as a motherfucker with dreads. It's taking it out your hair because something in your heart says so. And that's really yours. That's personal. That's not to be judged by me or anybody else. But those who are looking at you judge to see if you have that level of self-hate. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? That level of self-hate, that perm. You know what I'm saying? Madam C.J. Walker, which y'all niggas was proud of. Remember they said she was the first millionaire? She's a archon. She was given that money because she told black women all across the country to press their fucking nappy heads, you silly motherfuckers. You still press your hair. You don't think anything's wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you could be conscious with pressed hair. Don't get me wrong. Just because you do it does not make you conscious. I don't judge you like that. But you need to understand where that comes from too. We're not going to ignore and act like it's not where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Your hair grows out your head a certain kind of way. And that's who you are. And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Well, I can't get jobs. It's hard to comb. You call it whatever you want to call it. I don't even care to even have that. But you need to understand, Madam C.J. Walker, all them key motherfuckers, W.E.D. Boyce are archons. They are here with a different cosmic mission, even if they don't understand it. What's in their heart is anti-you, anti-niggas. So you'll see them working with white people, their children, the children of Yakub. They're working with their children diligently. They're putting their children in the front to have that hit. You psychologically cannot go to war with white people. Think about that. If it was niggas, you hate them. Soon as consciousness comes, what? Let's debate. Let's debate. You're just 2 minutes from beating each other's asses because y'all hate each other. Y'all disagree with everything. In fact, in consciousness in the beginning, all motherfuckers was welcome because we were all on one page. So everyone came from somewhere for a common understanding of life. Now, motherfuckers is arguing and debating within this shit. Mine is better than yours. Mine had Osiris first. Mine was this, mine was that. Because you niggas hate each other. You hate each other, and this is the mind control of you. And this is done based upon this children being in the front. You hate each other. So when you have this white person under this mind control that you have been trained as your Lord and Savior, even though you say there's no such thing as Jesus Christ, but you still believe this white man is something white is God. It's internal in you because it's been programmed in you. You can logically say no, but it's programmed into you. Why? Because we'll tell you there's 10% of them on the earth. We should have been eradicated them. Everything and everyone hates them on the earth. We should eradicate them, but they walk around the earth doing what they want with free will as they do and as they please. You still even talk about voting in a system that they made that's a total invention of them. You don't even just disdain from that shit. Disdain from what they are. Disdain from what they are because they are so ingrained in you, and that's by design. While they do that, the children of Yakub, those archons operate with free reign in the hidden, and they perform through entertainment. They speak through entertainment. They speak through these comedians by creating social order. They speak through music, just if nothing else, just to keep it dumb. And you can tell when these entertainments come on board because they find some of them have the realization of what it is they need to do, and some of them get a heart, like perhaps Chris Tucker, and you don't see him anymore. They get blackballed. And we've seen Chris Rock getting lost after Def Jam because remember, he was the early one on Saturday Night Live. He got kicked off, which means they didn't accept him. It's auditions, and he cooned and did whatever, but he didn't coon enough. He was doing all that Black Nate shit. He just didn't do enough. Then after that, he went and did his own show. You don't remember that, where he cooned more, Chris Rock, because he missed his opportunity on Saturday Night Live. He missed his opportunity on Saturday Night Live. So he did shit like, nigga, please, cereal. Remember that? How you like it? What you gonna have for breakfast? Nigga, please. Funny as shit. But it was more exploitive in the vein of Living Color at the time. Wanda Sykes, all and more on the show. Didn't really happen for him then. He got on and did Niggas versus the Blacks, 20 per movie. 20 per movie for Martin. You know, just the mama shit, Big Mama's house, that's enough. You see guys like Martin drop out because they're conscious. They know what they're doing. They know who they're serving. There's a hidden hand. Like I said, the bootleg is entertainment. Bill Cosby was entertainment. Bill Cosby's agenda was to be this extra clean dude. He did it in his stand-up. But the bootleg disapproved that route. Why? Because there was a nigga who made more noise, Richard Pryor. So they understood We ain't gonna just keep fighting niggas and act like they don't exist in an area where they can thrive or are thriving. We're gonna let them be the niggas that they are, but control the narrative. Bill Cosby didn't really like that. So so remember, Richard Pryor was trying to be clean like Bill Cosby in the beginning. And in fact, if we go back, they weren't choosing Bill Cosby first. Dick Gregory was the one they were choosing as the clean one. And Dick Gregory pretty much said, fuck you. That's why you see Dick Gregory doing live lectures in consciousness and the shit. He said no to what he was supposed to be the Bill Cosby. They made Cosby the man. Cosby said, I'm going to be the man. I'm going to try to show y'all that I'm going to clean my way up in the game. Richard Pryor beat him out. So Bill Cosby went to the next phase in the 80s, got the TV show and showed the clean lifestyle. His comedy now in a family functioning form. After that, the Boulay told them, sorry, it went great. You did an excellent job. You are America's dad, TV guy. That's niggas putting that on. You think it's white people doing that? That's niggas doing that. Y'all need to get past your mind control. When the fuck did you think we ever gave up the planet? Think about that. How would we be able to give up the planet? Don't think because you see white people think they run in a comedy, they're allowed to do that. Niggas is not stupid. Niggas has never been stupid. We're just fooled at this point. Oh, the spirit, this year, after that ayahuasca, the one use of the ayahuasca put a lot of shit together. And it won't, listen, let me be clear on that. You can't just use ayahuasca in you're in the game. You have to have some sort of shamanistic level without any drugs for them drugs to be a tool to you. Otherwise, there'll be a fucking crutch. Khadijah pointed it out. You either can use it and it'll get you in a greater reality, or you can use it and you will escape reality. You understand what I'm saying? Most of the motherfuckers call themselves shamans are just using it to escape reality. It put me in a greater reality. So Bill got his answer with Def Jam. Like, no, nigga, this nigger comedy shit that Richard Pryor started exists and it will exist. That's why Bill went crazy. Oh, they coons, they coons, they coons. He's really arguing with his secret society. He's showing you what happens internally. I'm trying to take it this route, and y'all pretty much still saying no. It's no go. And they raised up Martin as the host and on his own show. He was their golden coon. Still is. So now, Bill, let me get back to that. Bill goes on this entire rant. Let's see, get this message. Bill goes on this entire rant about, black women are the wrong of this and that, and tries to buy NBC again. When he's doing this rant, the allegation comes out, one allegation, and I believe it's the one that eventually convicted him because it was the latest one, of him slipping a pill to this chick. He kind of slowed down a little bit with all these allegations, then tried to buy NBC again. And then that's when they hit him with the slew of allegations. And eventually he's in jail. Eddie Murphy goes on Saturday Night Live. People asked his reaction to Eddie Murphy saying he's America's dad now. Eddie Murphy even says in the character as Gumby, he said, Eddie Murphy said, I know who Eddie Murphy is. He said, Eddie Murphy's just a young coon before he met me or something like that. So they're acknowledging it. Eddie Murphy is saying, I am cooning. I'm trying to get money again. He said, and it's probably true, 10 kids are expensive, so he probably needs more money. You know what I'm saying? to do whatever. So he's back in the game, and he did all his old characters and saying, I'm still that cool, I'm still dedicated, I'm still down. You know what I'm saying? He must have did something before. Oh, no. He did Coming to America and Harlem Nights. In Harlem Nights, remember, he outslipped the white people, which was real interesting because it wasn't just, this is why it was dangerous in Harlem Nights. It was a movie that he produced and directed. And he put a slew of niggas in there. Robin Harris, Red Fox, and what's his name? Richard Pryor, of course. Now later, because he's done Dolomite's movie over, you know what I'm saying? Dolomite should have been, and there was an old friend of Dolomite saying Dolomite was aware and wanted to be in the movie Harlem Nights. But Eddie Murphy didn't put him in there. Eddie Murphy didn't fuck with him when he was alive. He wanted to do something with Eddie Murphy so bad. The fucking old dude said he's talking to Dolomite's spirit. And Dolomite's spirit said he's happy about that movie, but they should have did it when I was on Earth. I'm like, this old nigga's on it because that's the kind of vibe I was getting. So I talked to Dolomite plenty of time, even before all this movie shit. So now, it became clear to me that, in a nutshell, black people are still running this shit. And that which we were calling the boule, or just written off as the gay boule, as some flunky secret society following in the footsteps of white people who are really doing the thing, is your slave training. It never would occur to see, if we use our spiritual training is with gods of the earth. This planet is ours. Everything in the universe is ours. We say that all the time. That's mantra shit right there. So we saying that, how all of a sudden white people just run this shit, kicking you in the ass when they want. Took over the planet. You were running for a million years and they came 15 minutes, get out the cave, open the cave, stretch, and go, okay, I'll just take over all of these fucking intelligent gods and goddesses. That don't make no sense. All the stories you hear, you never really hear a comprehensive story of they started here, they did that, they did this, they did that. You hear these sporadic things, but then there's always niggas. Well, you hear when they were taking slaves into Africa, there was niggas that started that. You don't want to hear that part. It's like, they always trying to blame black people for what white people do. But think about it. Maybe what's being told to you is niggas set them up. Because there's a hidden agenda between certain niggas who ain't niggas like you. They're identifying them as self as blacks. I remember seeing Sister Soldier on CNN in 1980 something. And there was a mayor of DC, a black woman, light-skinned, unattached black person. You could tell. You got at her house, she wouldn't even want you to drink out of a cup. And, you know, she would throw the cup away, type nigga, light skin. So now, I just remembered Sister Soldier going off on her ass. Sister Soldier started crying. Like, you called the troops, what do they call them? The army, whoever comes in after the police can't handle it, on the people of DC, on the black people. She was getting on that shit. Embarrassed the shit out of this woman. You as the mayor call the National Guard on the black people of your own fucking city, bitch. And Sister Soldier tore her ass up. I just always remembered that. And always just remembered that. So now you fast forward to like 1998, which had to be close to like 10 years later. I'm sorry, 1995 or 6. I had a friend, Dino. He's actually my sister's boyfriend. They were breaking up, but they was all cool. Dino is the dude that eventually went on to sign, to show you how this works, sign Cash Money and gave them that big deal that was legendary at the time, something like 30 million. And of course, he got a percentage of that, which means he doesn't need to do any fucking thing else, I guess, depending on how he lives. Dino was in a fraternity. Dino, you know, his big thing, Howard, this is this black college. This is where they recruit archons, nigga. They hate you. When I worked at the record label, which Dino got me the job, Dino, my sister, who also worked there, got me the job, there was a certain college elite motherfuckers in there. And then there was the niggas who got their jobs, who was always fighting for their jobs in promotion or whatever the fuck they do. They would need it because they knew rap music and they grew up in the grassroots. But then there was these things, they just didn't know nothing about rap. Dino knew nothing the fuck about rap. I remember they assigned him Rakim to A&R. Rakim was signed to MCA and they were moving him to Universal. So he was just sitting there signed and they had nothing to do with him. So they needed to do an album and they gave him to Dino. He woke me up complaining about this shit. Oh, what do y'all call him? The R, the God. Now I got to deal with him. This shit was a hazard, a chore to this nigga. So now I'm still asleep where I'm not able to dig in his ass. But believe me, at the end of the day, he was about to get a ass full. Nigga, you got rock him. But when he came back home that night, I guess he's went through that monologue with a few niggas and they straightened him out. Oh man, this is gonna be the greatest. I'm gonna make this my this and this and this and that. Well, I got Rakim. He's seen how proud he should be over this fact. So he has no idea. There was, I remember another instance where he was talking, and I remember I was in the office that day, and there was a dude with a big country hat in his office. We couldn't hear the music, but I could see Dino had that laugh face. So later, Dino tells me, yo, man, you had to hear this crap. It was garbage. It was this and that. He calls my sister crap, garbage. You know, it's so funny. I'm going to bring it home so you can hear it. He plays it, and my sister goes, what, nigga? Sign them motherfuckers. This shit is crazy. Really? So he signs the group, and they're called Crucial Conflict. And they made that song, Smoking on Hay in the Middle of the Barn. That's what he was laughing at, which was a major hit. So they had their little run. So no clue, you know what I'm saying? Cash Money he did because it was an upcoming thing and he jumped right on the boat. He was big for that because that's all he had, to try to listen to the ground and see what people were talking about. He had no way of hearing it himself. So he used to go to Maria Davis, which used to put on these showcases in New York. And one of the dudes that was a constant at her showcase, the next big thing was a dude named Jay-Z. He used to come down and rap, and he was big in that area. Dino heard it and wanted to sign Jay-Z. He signed Jay-Z. They did that video where Jay-Z's on the boat playing Monopoly money, but he was signed to, this is before Dino got to Universal, to Patrick Motzi, who was the manager of Premier. Excuse me, y'all. He was the manager of DJ Premier, and who was big with Guru and a few other acts at that time. So he signed him for a single and didn't pick it up. But Dino, and then Jay-Z started to become Jay-Z. So Dino had the props in the credit for first having Jay-Z, but always gets to blame Patrick for not keeping Jay-Z. This caught the attention of Jocelyn Cooper Gilstrap, college executive archon. This is one of them chicks that stand in the room and you could feel how much she's different and hates you and knew it. Looked at you down, you know what I'm saying? And Dino was always vying for those people's attention. Now, so she gets to Universal. That's where she brings Dino. He's the guy who signed Jay-Z. He's got the ears. He's head of A&R, like a position he's not supposed to be in. Then the Rakim thing. Then you know, there was I remember another time I used to bike ride heavy. I banged over the 59th Street Bridge through Manhattan, cross just the label was across town. It was on 57. So going over the 59th, I'm on the east side, just banging to like 6th, 7th Avenue, whatever it was. Broadway. It was actually on Broadway in 57. That's where the building was. Got to the building, you go with the bike. I went through the service entrance. That's where the executives went through. So I'm standing there with the bike. Now I have to get on with the bike, man. Make a wheelie. So on my back, because of the back wheel, when the back wheel spins, sometimes the mud spins up and hits your back. So there's a long line on your back. I wore clothes for this. I was going to change. So the executive, Gene something, it's like, yo, Archon, you could feel, and I'm in this elevator, you could feel you the nigga, and these motherfuckers don't even, they want you to be invisible. They will eat off of everything you make in rap music, but they want you, you could tell they don't even, their skin, they're all light skinned. Most of them are light skinned, and they're just so different. You could tell. The people she hired in promotion, Mike something, you like, these ain't niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure y'all experienced this before. So she was like, yo, you have something on your back. So I would wipe it off, but it's wet. I said, no, I got to change clothes. This is what I expect. I'm like, oh, this shit was just creepy. You feel creepy talking to me. So Dino and my sister eventually break up. And, you know, she was more than happy. She was like, you know, I'm like, yo, you know, she's like, well, it feels like if we moved together even deeper than we were, got a house, if there was a mouse, he'd be on a chair and I'd be getting, you know what I'm saying? Like she said one time, she was at a club with this nigga, and Mobb Deep was at their height. So Mobb Deep, them little niggas walking through the club, smacking niggas, blah, blah, you know, starting Mobb Deep trouble. Now, them niggas from my hood. That ain't even these little niggas, you know what I'm saying? I sit them niggas on my lap, you know what I'm saying? And they know my sister. So as they walking by, she said, yo, they was about to walk out the club. She said they was going, but they said they seen how shook Dino was. They said they just came back and gave him a free smack. Bow! They said it wasn't even hard. He said the nigga said, oh! And fell out. She said they had to like wake him up, like wake Dino, like over him. She said her friend Rashawn looked at her and said, yo, I won't even tell nobody. I'm like, yo, that's embarrassing, yo. You get knocked out off a smack in front of your lady. She had to wake you up on a humble. It's not like even you was bumping and they knocked you out, which I can respect. Ba boom, and you get caught, or you get snuffed and they jump you. Niggas said they was leaving and said, hold on, this one is just, came back and said, what them little niggas? I'll bite his fucking face off. You know what I'm saying? Sit them niggas down and fucking teach him a thing or two. Smack you and you get knocked the fuck out. So she was more than happy. He was my man. He got me the job. I'm helping him move. We at the end, he moved with a roommate, a chick that worked for Def Jam named Drew. Okay, she got that feeling again, that disassociated nigga feeling. So she's like, when y'all eat that curry, make sure y'all put it in the bottom of the garbage because that curry stinks. So I'm like, yo, I'll bring this outside and throw it away, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you just feel they hate you. Her moms came downstairs, and her moms was that mayor of DC, the one that Sister Soldier shit on CNN. Boom, you could feel where this bitch was getting it from. And this disdain, these college elite motherfuckers looking at you like you savages. And you'll see that Drew, who worked at Def Jam, is in there. What do the Archons get for coming down here to help bring order to the food supply of true niggas with divine light in them? See, in Gnosticism, they say there's a certain niggas down here that have the divine spark, which is older than that which has created this. And that's what he eats off of. Your soul, which is the divine spark trapped in the feeding apparatus that he created. And to keep you in order, he needs an elite angelic force, or the Archon. Y'all hearing this? The Archon to bring order to you niggas. So that's why all them niggas run record labels, shit that you show up in. All the motherfuckers run comedy, shit that you show up in as a nigga, because we could use that. They could use that to feed off of your energy. What's your energy? How do they feed? Off of all your human anxiety. That's why we as conscious people say the most advanced you need to do, you got to start getting away from your human thought process. Your human thought process is how you give up the food. You must deal with the eternal you, because that's the power source that is beyond them. And to harness that for information, for understanding of true nature of self, is how you get off of this place and do not come back. It cannot use you as you. It can only use you suppressed in human reality. And if you buy into human reality, oh, we gotta save babies, the old people, the elders. We need to create societies and economic plans. And the black people need to do. I understand we don't need to be here suffering in any way we can, but there's a mentality to getting money and economic safety, as opposed to trying to invest in a plan to do it and unify, and we as a people. That's a different thing than you as an individual finding a way to make it easier for yourself, finding a way to make it so you deal with the least amount of suffering that you can possibly create for yourself in a prison that is designed for your suffering. So you will never walk away scot-free. People, when we at the height of whatever, the masses never did shit, and the masses never were about shit. It was about the individual. There is an entity that seeks to keep you here, the same way you would seek to keep your chickens on your property, because you understand that they are also your property. And as long as you buy into humanity, you are buying into the property of this thing you call the fucking creator. There's no friend of yours called the fucking creator. Stop saying that. The creator. That which creates this place is an enemy of you. is an enemy of you. And he has agents down here to keep this party popping. It's called archons. Bill Cosby is a archon. So what he did in his archon knowledge was create a show, through the form of entertainment, mind control, or entertainment, mind control, called The Cosby Show, to show you or instruct you on how to behave as a black person or a nigger, where to go to train yourself to behave, called college. He did that for you. And he did that so the more this circle continues to go on, the more that is the goal of your creator, to keep this shit and you here recycled through reincarnation forever, ignoring that in you which is eternal, to raise up that eternal you, to invest in you, in your spirituality, in your transformation, is the ultimate honor you can do for yourself. It is not something you do for black people. It does not make black people better. It makes you free. Free. And you will see that the material matrix will follow you, meaning money will follow you, riches will follow you. So when I remembered that mayor and say, fuck. Now, I didn't have words like archon and demiurge, but you had the feeling. You had the feeling. And if you go back, and most of you could think yourself, you met these kind of black people where it's odd. If you're in a room or in a scenario, you may go to a party that's pretty much out of your league, and you feel like, I don't belong here. This is a different feeling than I'm feeling when I'm in the average hood. You will always see that TV niggas and where they come from versus where you live. Like, where did Theo come from before this? The projects? They know it's a difference. Theo used to I used to live on Roosevelt Island, which was pretty much the upper Escalons later on because my grandmother lived there. So I moved with her. And right over the water is Queensbridge, the projects, where I'm from. And so you'll notice the difference. And when I moved with her in the 90s, across was a guy named Todd. Todd's brother was Drew from the group Houdini, the DJ from Houdini, which was a big deal back then. It was over in the 90s though, because it was funny when Drew came back home to live with his mother. I guess he had no regular clothes. He had all of that shit that he performed in as Houdini. So when he's at the supermarket or at the pizza store, it'd be a Gucci suit, you know what I'm saying? MCM on the patches, all that Dapper Dan shit, while he's doing regular shit. It was fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't really have jeans, I guess, for whatever. Now, which is funny as fuck. But Todd was cool with me. And Todd made